And we are live. Oh, don't spill that. We're building an audience for me, guys. It's Monday. It's sunny out. I'm just going to wait for a little bit until we can build an audience. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Mine was bizarre, but that's par for the course. We're getting late. We got one person on. I'm not sure who you are. And we got nobody on. One and done. Dusty, top of the morning, sir. How we doing? If anyone jumps on, you want to throw some comments out. Brian Krause, top of the morning. What a weekend, huh, Brian? Rosie, Nick Conrad, everyone. Just going to wait a few minutes. Chad, what's going on? Top of the morning, guys. If you want to leave comments, that's awesome. What's up, brother? And, the one thing I do urge you guys to do is if you could, morning, Dusty, just share this out. Share it out. We want to try and get as many people and help as many people as we could. Tony, what's going on? And we got a few people on and a few people off. That's awesome. Crazy weekend. Brian, it was... Cuz, what's going on? I'll actually text you, Brian, about this weekend's events and yesterday's events, as it's since gone all over nationwide, I think, with the news. Guys, we got 5 people on. I'm gonna get rolling. I'm sorry about the late start. Normally I'm with you guys earlier, and I try and get your Mondays or your mornings out on the right foot, motivate you, get some positive feedback going, but kind of got some changes, some things going on, so we might be doing the lives a little bit later than normal. Might be somewhere around this time moving forward, but we'll see how that plays out. You guys, if you feel free to leave comments, let me know how that is working out. Thanks, Tom. Yeah, Caesar and Cooper really, he's a treat, bud. Knocked some stuff, broke some glass this morning. That's what I walked into. So exciting. Anyway, Stephanie's on. Good morning, babe. If Chad, tomorrow's a huge day and getting funded. Awesome. Call me later and we'll talk about it. I'm glad to hear things are going well. I am Brian, top of the morning. So if you're just jumping on, you haven't been on my live before. For this week, last week, this week, and probably the week, a little bit of the week after, I'm discussing the topics of my book, which is called Find Your Playlist. And obviously your playlist has to do with music. Chad, thanks for sharing that video. That's awesome. Chad's doing big things down in Florida. And each chapter in my book has to do with music, because music's been a huge part of my life. I think music is a big part of a lot of people's lives. And for me, it's something that helped me get through some tough times. It's helped me get through a lot of tough times in my life. And I wanted to share with you, give you a little bit of an idea of what the book's about and why you might want to purchase the book. So we started with chapter 1, which was Under the Bridge, Red Hot Chili Peppers. That was basically, for me, a place, and that was the starting point. That was, good morning, Nancy. That was the point for me that I was at a place where I didn't want to be there anymore. And that's when that song reached out to me and spoke volumes to me. I didn't want to feel like I did that day. I didn't want to be in that spot anymore. And I just couldn't take it anymore. And that led into chapter 2, which was Rhyme and Reason by Dave Matthews Band, which is a song about being in a dark place. And that's exactly where I was. I was in an extremely dark place in my life, and from the outside looking in, you might not have been able to see that. But a lot of times that's what happens, is you might think that someone's all right, and they put it out like they're all right, but on the inside something's completely wrong. And then there was a lot wrong with me there. And it was to the point where I just did not want to be here anymore. I was tired of failing. I was tired of disappointment. And that's what chapter 2 is about. Chapter 3 was DMX's Mark Shibby, what's going on, bud? Chapter 3 is DMX's Lord Give Me a Sign. And so I was in a very good morning. We just talked about Dave Matthews' Rhyme and Reason in chapter 2. Chapter 3 is about DMX's song, Lord Give Me a Sign, and that's what I was looking for. I was in a bad spot in my life. Again, a spot I had put myself in. I was tired of feeling like that, and I think we all can relate. In life, sometimes it becomes overwhelming, and we're looking for that sign. We're looking for something to kind of fall out of the sky. And for me, it did in ways that I really wish it wouldn't have, because it came to me in the loss of a friend who died by suicide, and that was a state of mind that I was close to being in, if not in, for a long time. And just it made me realize that if I didn't do something soon, that would be me, that could be me, that could be my family suffering. So that was the sign that I needed to try and figure out where I was going, what I was doing in life, which was, we'll talk about in the upcoming chapters. But so then chapter 4 was Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror. And for me, this was a pivotal chapter in the book. I think it's a pivotal message for everyone to kind of grasp, is that absolutely, rest in peace, Spuds. That's the Spuds campaign that I believe a portion of the proceeds will go to once it's up and officially a charity organization. But Man in the Mirror spoke to me, and all of these songs resonated with me. They were part of my music library, and in today's day and age, we create playlists, and this was the playlist that I came up with that changed my life, and that's what the book is in essence about. But Man in the Mirror spoke to me when he talked about looking in the mirror, and that the person, and this is not just from Michael Jackson songs, but many, professional development things. At the end of the day, and for me, I was not necessarily blaming other people. I was not necessarily, just straight out calling people out, my family members, my friends, my boss, whatever it was. I wasn't, not in any way, shape, or form. But I wasn't taking responsibility for my actions, for who I was. Because at the end of the day, we are the only people, the only person responsible for where we're at in life, what we do in life, and where we end up. That's it. But it's very hard to take and accept responsibility for that. And for me, I wasn't, again, I wasn't blaming others, but I wasn't looking in the mirror. I wasn't accepting the fact that my life was a sum result of the decisions and the choices that I made. We make our bed. No matter what you're born into, whatever the environment you were in, at some point you become an adult and you are responsible. And that was tough for me to stomach. Failure was not a stranger to me by any means. But I wasn't learning from my failures, and I kept repeating them. So that's what Man in the Mirror was. Again, it's a pivotal message to get in our own lives, that if we don't accept responsibility, then you can pass the blame all you want. It's a lot easier to do that. But once you finally man up and accept the fact that you are where you are because of what you created, it's a lot easier to start moving forward and see where things can go. Stephen Cassie Walker, how are you? Top of the morning. Stephen Cassie Walker is the owner of Walker Promotes. Great guy. If you have a business and you need some promotional products, he's unbelievable. Just a great person, great family man. And I recommend him highly. So, where was I? Chapter 4 was Man in the Mirror. Chapter 5 was Dave Matthews Band, Where Are You Going? And after I kind of accepted responsibility that it was not my parents' fault, it wasn't my employer's fault, it wasn't my friend's fault, it wasn't society's fault, it was my own fault that I wasn't living up to the potential that I knew I was capable of. And then I was listening, and the next song that really hit me was Dave Matthews Band song, Where Are You Going? And that was the message for me. Well, where was I going? What the heck was I doing in life? I was making a very good income, but it wasn't in a field, it wasn't doing what I wanted to do. And I'm not, it could have very well been a very good life for me. They took very good care of me, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. There was something missing inside me, and I knew I wanted to go somewhere else. But I wasn't thinking at all. I wasn't making a plan. I didn't have a direction that I necessarily wanted to go in. And that's when that song spoke to me and says, look, where are you going, Matt? And the question I might ask somebody that's watching this is, where are you going? Are you headed on the path? Is the path that you're on right now the direction that you want to go? Is it the direction that you always set out for yourself? And if it's not, then we need to start thinking about where are we going? And that was what it was for me, is where am I going? What am I doing in life? And if it's not, then how am I going to get on that path? What am I doing? What are you doing to move you in the direction of your goals? And so after that, it was another Dave Matthews Band song that really struck a chord with me, and that was, and I'm a huge Dave Matthews fan, but it was Dave Matthews' song Gaucho, which the title itself, if you don't know Dave Matthews, you might be wondering, well, what does that mean? And the lyrics and the words in that song imply that you've got to do more. And I think we all believe that we're capable of doing so much. And I believe that people are capable. I believe that everyone's capable of doing great things in their life, doing what they want to do. And you'll do great things when you're doing what you're great at. And you've got to start with that belief, and that belief is awesome. And I had the belief, I knew I could do good things, I knew I could do great things, but I wasn't doing them. And in the song, it says, you've got to do more than believe if you want to see the world change. And I wanted to change people's lives. That was part of me that I wanted to do. I wanted to make an impact in people's lives. I wanted to change their lives for the better. I want to help people become their best self, which is why I became and got into the coaching field. But that was at the back end of it. Or I should say the front end, whatever. In order to change others, I had to change myself. I had to change my thought processes, how I was thinking about myself. I had to, in order to make change, we all want change. But how many of us are actually willing to change ourselves? And that spoke to me, because I wanted all these things. I believed I was capable. What was I doing to accomplish them or achieve them? So if you've got something in mind, and you've got something that you're good at, you have something that you want to do, that's great. But just believing and just thinking about it is not going to make it happen. And that was what really struck a chord with me. That's what really sunk in with me. Like, I have all these things that I'm capable of doing, all this potential that people tell me that I have inside me, but I wasn't doing it. I wasn't putting any use to it. And that song for me just was a slap in the face. Like, you've got to do more than believe. I want to be that person that change people's mindsets, that changes their lives. Because if you can change your mind, you'll change your life. But I needed to change my own. I couldn't help anyone else change if I wasn't willing to change myself. And if, whatever it is you want to do, you want to make a change in your life, you can believe that you can make that change. You can say that you can make that change. But until you actually put it into action, until you actually start doing something and moving toward that change for yourself, it's not going to happen. And that's what I did. That's where the misery, that's where the aggravation and the frustration came from, was because I wasn't moving in the direction of my goals. I wasn't moving in the direction of change, and the change that I needed to make for myself. So again, we all have this belief, and we all want to do more in our life, and whatever it is, every person is different. Whatever it is that you want to do, or however you want to make a difference in your life, just believing it is not going to make it happen. There has to be action. Thought without action is pointless. Trying to make change without taking action is setting yourself up for failure. And that song for me they were all big, they were all huge songs for me. And the whole idea behind the book is how we can use music to move ourselves in the right direction, to speak to us. Again, when all else failed me, not saying that my family members, my friends failed me, but they weren't able to, good morning, Robert, they weren't able to get through to me, I guess. I needed a different outlet. People were throwing praise, and I thought that, well, they're my family, they're my friends, of course they're going to say things, positive things. I needed something else, and music was that something else for me. Music was that thing that, awesome, Stephen, thank you. Music was the thing for me that really spoke to me. Music, and again, in my book I mentioned it a few times, music transcends race, religion, social status, all of that. And it speaks to us in ways that just mere words cannot. And that's what music did for me. Good morning, Dina. Morning, Richard. Stephen, thanks for sharing this out. Good morning, Crystal. So that's what chapter 6 is about. Chapter 6 is the Dave Matthews Band song. The name of it's Gaucho. One of my favorites was the live version of it. And I was that person. I believe I'm a dreamer. I want to change people. And I wanted to make a difference in the world, but I couldn't start making that difference until I started to change myself. And while I was believing that I could change and telling people, this is what I want to do, until you do it, it's really pointless. And that song spoke to me and says, look, you've got to do more than believe if you want to see the world change. You've got to do more than just believe. And each one of us, I think everyone watching, everyone out there on social media wants to see the world change. They want to see things change for the better. But how many people have the not my backyard mentality? How many people are willing to make the change in themselves in order to see things, or to see the changes that need to be made in the world? I mean, I'm not this huge, prophet or this or that, but I mean, some of the people that have come before us, I mean, in Gandhi said, be the change that you seek in the world. And we all want this change, but how many of us are willing to change ourselves? And I knew that I had to make big changes in my life. If I wanted to be a person of influence, if I wanted to be and make an impact in my life, that song spoke to me and says, look, you need to do more than just sit there and believe and think in your head. You actually need to take action. You need to do something about it. And that is what chapter 6 is really all about. Whatever it is you want to do in your life, make it known, let it be known, and actually start to move in the direction of that. And it's not going to happen overnight. Mine is still happening as I speak. It's happening as you're watching in. But one of the main things I wanted to do in my life was write a book. And here I am editing this book. Now, is it going to be the next Chicken Soup for the Soul? I don't know. But it's something that I want to do. If there's something that you want to do, you need to start doing it. And you need to be deliberate about it. And you need to start taking action on it. And that's what this chapter is about. It's about doing more than just believing. It's about taking action and starting to take the steps necessary to change your life, to change whatever it is you want to do, your relationships in your family, your social situation, your job, whatever it is that you want to do. You've got to take action on it. So I really appreciate everyone sharing the video. It really means a lot. I mean, that for me, again, is the message. And hopefully if I can impact if I can change one person's life, then that is, then that's the point. That's really why I'm doing this. Because as I said in chapter 3, the Lord gave me a sign. Like, what was the sign? I knew I wanted to make a difference in somebody else's life. And as I was ready to give up on what I wanted to do, which was coaching and changing people's lives, I was at that point, like, wow, this is not going to work out. And somebody said that your message, it needs to be told. I mean, there's going to be people that might watch this and say, well, I had it way worse than this person, or went through way more. That's awesome. There's always going to be, my father always said, there's always going to be somebody that has it worse, and there's always going to be somebody that has it better. But the point is, we all have a story, and our story, somebody else might be able to relate to it. And that is my hope in this book, is that if there's something that you've wanted to do that you haven't done, you haven't moved on, maybe this is the catalyst or the inspiration that you might need to do that. So, guys, ladies and gentlemen, whatever it is that you want to do, chapter 6 is about doing more than just believing that you can do it. It's about actually taking the steps to make that change in your life, to make and give yourself a better life. We are the creators of our life. It relies on nobody else, only ourselves. And I'm currently taking those steps to do better, to change people's lives. And it deals with changing your own life and making those changes along the way. But it's going to, Stephen, we have to take action. We have to believe it first. Yeah, absolutely. Belief is the first step. Les Brown says that, making $1 million wasn't the hardest thing he ever had to do. It was believing that he was capable of making $1 million. That was the hardest thing, and it is. You can say to yourself, I think I could do that. It's another self when you put yourself out there and then you actually start to believe that you are capable of doing that, and that is the difference that it was. And even in my life, I said it and I spoke to a lot of people about it, but I had done it so many times, I was like that boy that cried wolf. It's like, oh yeah, here we go again. And I think a lot of us get into that where we get so excited and we want to do stuff and we want to make all these big changes in our life, and then we don't take the action on them. And then, then I told this person, then we start to look bad, or we start to feel bad that we didn't do this, or we didn't achieve this, whatever it is. And that Dave Matthews Band song, Gaucho, was just like that slap in the face, like, boom. You do a lot of talking, but where's the action behind it? I believed, that I could do it. And Crystal, you're absolutely right. If somebody that is, in recovery or anything like that, it's all action. It all relies on you. If you want, you're right, Stephen, and you can't. And that's your motivation. Keep moving forward, and that's what we do. Those people that think you're going to fall back into the abyss, you just keep moving forward, and you took the steps. And once you start taking those steps forward, you start to get some momentum, and look at where you're at now, going to the, be alongside Grant Cardone in the Donnie Pachuchown animal. He makes the best stuffed pepper in town. If you're ever in Buffalo, I would definitely try and get your hands on one of them. It's probably one of the best stuffed peppers that you'll have anywhere. It's actually the original recipe, but Drew, you're absolutely right. You can't care what other people think. So, if there's something that you want to do, you want to take your business to the next level, but you don't believe that you can, or maybe you do believe that you can, but there's something holding you back. We all have these things that we want to do, and you've got to be willing to take those steps. You've got to be willing to believe in yourself. But then, like the song says, you've got to do more than believe if you want to make changes. You got to do more than just say and think it. You've actually got to take the action and move in the direction of your goal. So, guys, that's what I have for you this morning. I hope that each and every day I'm of some sort of motivation or inspiration for you. Chapter 6, again, ladies and gentlemen, is Dave Matthews Band song Gaucho, and the theme in that song is that you've got to do more than believe. I believed that I could do all this. I believed that I can help other people. I believed that I can write a book. But believing it is great. You've got to do it, and that's the message in this song, is that take action, believe in yourself. Absolutely, but you've got to take the action. Action is the step that's necessary to move you in the direction of those goals. And if you're not, I wasn't willing to take that action. That was what led to a lot of the frustration, a lot of the disappointment, was that I knew that I had these things. I kept telling people what I wanted to do, but I wasn't doing them. And so when you do that, you actually create your own frustration. You create your own aggravation and letdown, because you're not living up to it. Yes, it's always great. You want to tell people, you want to be held accountable, but just telling people that what you want to do is not going to move you in the direction that you want to move. You have to take the action. You've got to do more. Again, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but that is absolutely what you have to do, action, and that's what this whole chapter is about. That's what the song really is about all of us and people. If we want to see the world change, if we want to change anything about our life, our surroundings, our communities, you can't wait on everyone else to change. You can't expect other people to change it for you. You can't expect our politicians or government or your boss or your manager or anyone else to change things for you. You've got to be the change that you want in whatever it is you're looking for. So, guys, that's what I have for you on this fine Monday morning. We'll be back tomorrow. Again, the times this week are going to be a little screwed up, but we'll be back tomorrow, chapter 7. If you like this message, if you can relate to it all, if you've ever used music to help you get through things, I would encourage you and ask that you share the video out. Find your playlist. I'm expecting it to be available for sale on Amazon.com around April 1st. And we'll go from there, guys. So have a great rest of your Monday. And we will look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow on Tuesday. That's all I got for you. I'm out.